So last but not the least, we have the Decoy line, which is a Chardonnay and a Cabernet Sauvignon.
And our first cheese, a wonderful maple cheddar.
So this wine is from California, Sonoma. It's a Decoy from the Duckhorn line. It's 100% Chardonnay. It's aged in oak just a little bit to give it that roundness that we want. Also, it has honeysuckle flavors, vanilla flavors, a little bit of apple, green apple, to give it that zip. It's really a easygoing wine, but with a little kick of oak. So I'm hoping you're enjoying it.
So with spring in the air, why not a wonderful maple cheddar? This cheddar is made in Nova Scotia by a company called Noydart Farm, and it's very new on the market, so you probably haven't tasted it yet, so this is a great opportunity for you. It's available in Sobeys for those who will be interested. And it is actually with maple syrup with a medium to old cheddar. So you've got that cheddar flavor, a little pronounced because it's becoming between medium and old, but with the maple syrup flavor that just balances in there. So when you take a bite and let it melt on your tongue, it just brings you that wonderful blend and reminds you that spring is here and summer's on its way. This cheese being more between medium and mild cheddar, you'll have that cheddar flavor, but it has that wonderful little blend of maple syrup. It just melts on your palate.
Wow. And with the Chardonnay Decoy, the vanilla from the barrels, the complexity of the butteriness, everything jives so well. Like the flavors are like phenomenal.
This is a real wow.
Yeah, it is a wow.
And like you said, the aftertaste, it leaves a little vanilla there. And with the maple syrup, it's just like a real treat.
Yeah, it's super smooth.
And our second cheese, a wonderful sharp cheddar. And the beauty of this is that it's aged, but the way they age it at a humidity level in the rooms, it keeps the texture still smooth. So it's an older cheddar with the taste of an older cheddar, but with a nice smooth texture. And it just melts on your mouth, and it's a wonderful flavor. And like I said, for old cheese lovers, it's something you really want to try and really enjoy. What's really nice about this one, because it has the softer texture, even though it's an older cheese, it melts very nicely on your palate, but leaves a little sharpness to it.
Yeah. It's like an old mozzarella almost. Now, if somebody likes mozzarella, it has that old sharpness on it, but it has the texture of a mozzarella.
It has the texture of a mozzarella. You like melting mozzarella? Wow. Think of a sharp cheddar on your pizza, on your lasagna, on anything you would melt a mozzarella. Wow. Add some flavor. You'll get the same melt texture, but with a wonderful flavor of a sharp cheddar.
It's phenomenal. Like it's just like everything, the oak with the wine and then the cheese with the creaminess. It's like lots of flavor.
It balances so well. I love it with that wine.
Marvelous.
Our third cheese, a treasure from right here in New Brunswick, le J Bleu, a blue cheese. So for those of you who don't like to sing the blues or even listen to the blues, you might want to try this wonderful blue cheese. And it is made from raw milk, and it has a nice creamy texture with, again, the veins that give you that little piquant flavor, but the two together, when they melt in your palate, it just blends together and gives you that memory of how proud we should be that we have such great products here in our own backyard.
Wow.
With this cheese, it has a little honey flavor in it.
Yeah,
Even though it's a blue cheese, it has a little honey flavor, and I find that the wine brings it out even more, gives it a little bit more sweetness.
And it's subtlety. Like the blue cheese is like a little bit subtle, but then you get the wine with the oak. It's just like a good component.
Absolutely. And if you like that blue cheese, you really want to try it on a burger or on a steak because it just melts and adds that flavor to it.
Yeah.
And maybe if you want to have it as a little appetizer on a piece of bread, maybe some kind of, I forget the name.
A pizza with pears and blue cheese, like that would be a phenomenal blue cheese to go on a pizza. So this time we're going to do the three cheeses, but with the Cabernet Sauvignon of Decoy. So this wine is Decoy Wine from the Duckhorn Winery. It's a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, a Merlot, and a little bit of Cab Franc. It aged in wood a little bit just to give it that structure, and it has lots of flavor of red fruits, dark fruits, a little kick of spice, but very well balanced as a wine. So it's really versatile to go with food as well.
So if I take the maple cheddar again, it reminds me of how that sweetness in there blends. Now with the red wine, it's a little more pronounced, but I find it brings out a bit more sweetness actually.
It brings out the sweetness.
You taste even more the maple syrup in there.
It's so smooth, like the combination of both is like super smooth. You taste the wine, you taste the cheese, you taste a little bit of the maple, and you wouldn't think that, you know, maple with the cab would work. It's phenomenal.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because traditionally you'd go with a red wine with some kind of a cheddar, but with the sweetness of there, it just brings that little sweetness into that wine, and it sort of gives it a little more sweetness to it, the two together.
It's really good.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Let's try the other cheese here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the sharp one, of course. If we go with the sharp cheddar, like we said earlier, it melts. It has that little sharpness. Now, instead of the white with the red, we get what?
A little kick of spice.
You're right. It leaves a little spice
A
flavor.
little kick of spice, and then you got that earthiness in the back that's really like intriguing. Like it's like really flavorful.
Yeah, it brings that earthy flavor, but almost I find the spice a little hint of pepper.
Yeah, it does. It brings the pepper, and I think like something with like a roast beef or something like that, and like a red wine, something like that would be phenomenal with that cheese like on top of it or something like.
Exactly. That you add
Yeah,
that
it
cheese
would
to
be
any kind
good.
of meat, like you said, a roast beef or a steak or a burger with that red wine. It's even better because of the meat in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richness.
Richness for sure.
So let's try the Jet Bleu.
The Jet Bleu has that creamy texture again. Again, the rind makes all the difference, I find. It was amazing with the white, but with the red, I find now the red brings it down.
I know, subtle. I mean, you taste the wine, but then
But then the blue just sort of stays exactly where it belongs.
yeah, you don't taste it too much. Somebody that doesn't like blue cheese, this is the perfect pairing to try, I think. Because it's subtle, it's not too in your face, you get a little bit of the cheese, but the wine, perfect match.
And a good piece of bread with this would be an actual white bread with foolish, because again, what it has is some sweetness in that bread.
For sure.
And sweetness with a sharp cheddar, with a blue cheese, or with a maple one would sort of balance it off, especially with the red.
I think these pairings are really interesting to try. Everybody should
Absolutely.
try it.
Let's have some more.
Yeah, sure.